Of course, this week, Venom finally hits theaters. It's been a weird road getting to this Venom movie. I started out optimistic about Venom. Like I always said, this movie could totally suck, but I believe there's a lot of upside. I believe we have reasons to feel good about this film. Go Venom. And then Sony decided to hide the movie and hold off the review embargo until 24 hours before it opens in half the international markets around the world. Actually, and it opens in a lot of markets today. Today is the day the review embargo drops, the same day that this movie actually opens in a lot of countries around the world. Of course, it opens in the United States on Thursday night officially. So, I mean, there's that. And then I said, that's it. I have no hope in this film anymore. I have no hope in this film. And what I said at the time was, if Sony doesn't believe in this film, why should I? Why should I have any belief in this film if clearly Sony has no belief in this film? If Sony had belief in this film, they would have shown this to critics earlier. They would have wanted the movie reviews to get out earlier and all that kind of stuff. Well, it's not all garbage, but it's mostly garbage. The first reactions of Campea, we haven't got our official reviews yet, but we do have our initial round of reactions from the Venom movie have now come out, and it's not looking good. Because even the positive ones are very lukewarm. Here's what we're getting so far right now. Tom Horgenson from IGN writes, sorry to say that Venom is pretty much a complete failure, a tonal mess that feels 15 years old, ignoring the storytelling strides that the superhero genre has made in recent years. The Moth Meg from Polygon writes, social embargo for Venom is up. I talk about this a lot in my review, but this is a movie that somehow slipped through the wormhole from 2004. That's my biggest take. It's a movie that spilled from the pre-MCU era through a crack and time in space. Brandon Davis from comicbook.com writes, the action sequences and Eddie and Venom's odd relationship are the highlights of Venom, but if Sony wants to move forward with a universe, it needs to just keep the few parts that work and scrap the large portion which doesn't. Sean O'Connell from Cinema Blend writes, it breaks my heart to say Venom doesn't work. While the symbiote looks fantastic, the rest of the movie is a mess, rough CGI, poor story plotting, and a schizophrenic tone. Daniel R. then wrote, Venom is Catwoman level bad with Tom Hardy's worst performance since This Means War. Don't see this movie. Scott Mendelson, our friend from over there at Forbes, writes, Tom Hardy's performance in Venom is either Johnny Depp in the first Pirates of the Caribbean or Chris Klein in Street Fighter: The Legend of Chun-Li. Either way, it's not boring. Mike Ryan from Uprocks writes, I'm fascinated with Venom. The cast seems to all know they're in a darker superhero movie, except Tom Hardy, who is basically remaking Jim Carrey's Liar Liar. I kind of loved watching this movie in a Rocky Horror type of way. At one point, Tom Hardy and Venom make out. And then probably the most positive response I've seen comes to us from Beatrice Verhoeven from The Wrap, who writes, Venom wasn't as bad as everyone was saying it was going to be. Tom Hardy is and always will be a great actor, and I laughed a lot, but I'm not sure whether that was intentional or not. The post-credit scene is fire. Well, that's good. I'm hearing, so a couple things. I'm hearing that Venom actually looks great. I've been hearing from a number of sources that Venom actually himself looks really good. I'm also hearing there's a great post-credit scene. And that's about as far as it goes. The most positive, like I said, the most positive things being said are pretty lukewarm. The most negative things being said are pretty damn negative. And unfortunately, we're not surprised. Again, we're not surprised. Sony hid the movie. That tells us they did not believe that the word of mouth would be positive, so they played it as close to the vest as possible. So that told us they don't believe in it, and if they don't believe in it, there's probably not much hope. And here we are. Here we are. Now, I haven't seen the movie myself. Who knows? Maybe I go in and I watch it tomorrow and I go, I don't know what everybody else is talking about. I thought this was pretty good. It's possible. But I don't have very high expectations, and I don't have much hope in that ever since Sony decided to hide the movie. So, yeah, it's really unfortunate. I feel really bummed out. This is a movie that I wanted to work. I wanted this movie to work. And we've talked about the implications it'll have on Spider-Man, all that kind of stuff. For many, many reasons, I wanted this movie to work. I love Tom Hardy. I've liked the trailers. But yeah, man, the moment it became apparent that Sony was hiding this movie, I pretty much lost all hope. And now it looks like this movie is certainly nothing to write home about. But again, I haven't seen it yet. So I'm going to go see it, not tomorrow, Thursday. I'm going to go see it on Thursday. I will let you guys know what I think about it once I do. I'll still keep my fingers crossed, except that any optimism or hope I have is pretty much gone at this point. So, oh well, guys, there you have it. What are your guys' thoughts on the reactions we're seeing to this? And I don't know. I think when the Rotten Tomatoes meter comes out, I think we're going to see this hover around 30 to 35%, which is not the worst in the world. We've seen worse than that. Certainly not good, though. But that's my guess. Where do you think this thing's going to end up around? Jump to the comment section. Let me know your thoughts. All right, let's move on now to the main topics of the day.